declare us out of executive session at 9:14.
So I think we've already interviewed Mr. Riley, so I think we've kind of been doing alphabetical order, right?
So we're making a decision right
Is
now.
that what we're wanting to do
I
though?
don't think so.
mean,
I'm in favor of that.
Likewise.
I
And
guess-
we did do alphabetical last time.
What's that, Brittany?
and I very much appreciate the additional, 2 individuals that we have here tonight. But with the applications being accepted after the deadline, if there are other people in the community that might be interested, I'd like to open it up to other people in the community, because somebody might have looked at the deadline and thought,
Right.
oh shoot, I missed it, and I'm very interested, and I do think, like, whether or not we voted on that policy or not, we told Nate to make a timeline, he made a timeline, we had a deadline, and now if there's individuals in the community that are really interested in public service, and I don't think it's fair to accept some applications, but then we didn't give other people the opportunity. I'm okay with, because they're here tonight, if we want to do an interview, but then I think we need to have a time that we accept applications for the next 2 weeks, or whatever that looks like.
Set up a special session on May 6th for additional applicants.
Yeah, I think that would be fine, just so that we're following.
Does that work, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, you could set up a special meeting for this. You could also hold it at the 13th under old business with the existing council as well.
I just want to give the public the opportunity to submit an application. If they didn't know we were going to continue to accept, I want to make sure that that's clear, that we are doing that, and I would like to also see the council not making the vote, but putting to it a public vote and letting the public decide who the next mayor is. I don't want to put more work on our people, on our employees. I don't want to do that. But I would really like to see this be a special election, because we have 2 very competent individuals that put in an application, and I know I'm gonna have a really tough time choosing between you or other applicants, and why am I the one who gets to make that decision? So that's kind of, if there's a way we can do a special election, put it to a public vote, is that?
I don't think that's what our
It's-
ordinance is called.
No,
It's not in our ordinance. It would have
So
to
in order to,
be in order for.
this is governed by South Dakota Code 913, 14.2. You can do a special election to fill a vacancy in the aldermanic form. But you must do so by ordinance enacted prior to the vacancy. Require that any vacancy on the governing body or any office of mayor is to be filled by special election called for that purpose has to be conducted.
Wouldn't the vacancy be May 13th?
It would, and you could,
So we could change the ordinance now?
if you were to change the ordinance tonight, you could do a special or a second reading on the, what's the day, 22nd? On the 28th, which is Sunday, which would make the effective date, assuming we publish that week, May 22 is the effective date of the ordinance, assuming it doesn't get
Can
challenged,
you give me an estimate of what that would cost?
less than $1,000.
To do a special
Yeah.
election, yeah.
So we didn't do an election this year, for mayor or council, so we saved that
We did
money,
budget
right?
that.
So I think,
We have six
Um,
of them.
Budget
Where-
$650.
where I would really like to see is, unfortunately, when we had petitions to be filed in February, we didn't have any candidates, right, for 3 positions, 2 positions, sorry. And we opened it up again and we had 1. now we have a lot of interest. We have interest on Facebook, we have interest in here in the room. This is an opportunity for us to get people that are interested in public service on a ballot and have the community make that vote. That way, Mr. Riley can be on the ballot if he chooses to do so, and we can have Mr. Peterson, correct, and Mr. Bergen, correct? All be on the ballot, and then if there's anybody publicly that is interested, they still have an opportunity to express that interest.
I guess what's the need to change the ordinance that as it exists? I guess why?
I think the ordinance is what it is because we don't typically run into this. I think we're in kind of uncharted waters. I'm sure it's probably happened at some point, but unless you have something else to offer up on it, Nate.
Yeah, but the mayor's not gonna like it.
The mayor stays on forever. That's the
She
other
would,
option.
she stays on until
Until
the new
So
appointment.
there's Alderman, yes. She's gonna kill me. So if you were to appoint the existing mayor to the vacancy that's created on the 13th, and the mayor on the 13th were then to announce a resignation effective on a specific date, then you could probably do a special election.
And what great training opportunity for the new finance officer to follow Denise through a special election. There's the positive, I know. You can all hate me, I don't care, but I think, I can go out and knock on all the doors in my, in our community. I can't probably speak to every single constituent. I don't know who they truly all want. I can call, there's gonna be maybe people that call, they're gonna have a certain voice, but that's not gonna be all the voices. I just don't feel comfortable making this decision for the whole city, for the
And
mayor.
unfortunately,
That's
that's
why
what
we're
our
elected.
law calls for.
It is.
Is that it's council appointed.
And I
Which can
understand
be
that,
changed at any time.
correct.
Right.
But for this specific vacancy, if you were to want a special election to happen as soon as, you know, the timeline does not work in this case to do the way that we're talking about. We wouldn't have,
I thought
the
you
ordinance
said-
would not be in effect until 20 days after publication.
Which is the 20th.
But it doesn't have to be in effect, it just has to be,
Oh, it has to be in it.
it has to be in effect.
Billy,
So
where's
it's-
your head?
Because it's no longer an ordinance until it goes.
All over the place.
Enacted,
I mean, that was.
What's that, enacted?
yeah. So,
Because then the argument's gonna be made, if you did one for the mayor, why did you not do a special election for Ward 3?
Well, we still can if that's what we want to do.
I certainly feel.
I think we should man up and make the vote that
It's not about manning up.
our citizens called for us to do. It's part of our job. Just because it's tough, just because it's difficult.
It's not tough and difficult, Chad, it's that I feel like these decisions are best left up to the whole community on a vote. And it also allows us time to, if there are other applicants, not that we don't have great ones here, I agree we do. I'm not saying our next mayor is not sitting in this room. I am very happy with the people we have, but that's not what it's about. It's about equal opportunity. And we're not giving that right now. We're not giving equal opportunity. We're not truly hearing from every man or woman, right? We're only these 5 people that are choosing this spot. And I believe that it needs to be a public vote. Why don't we vote for everything then? Why do we do anything on a ballot? Why wouldn't we
We have
make all
laws.
decisions
We have laws
in
established.
this room? We have laws established, but we have the opportunity right now to make that change, be a change agent, and do it the way it should be done.
So if we did the special election, I'm throwing it out there, if that was something I would be willing to accept the appointment for Monday. To get through the timeline thing.
I think you have to do it until the special election, that
What
ordinance
happened?
will change, so you'd be on the hook for like a month.
But then
So-
any potential person would have to do
They
a
have to
full
take out a
petition.
petition, they have to get
It's not
50,
just fill out an
No.
application,
Right.
it's the whole thing.
and it's for
then
1 year. And then they gotta run, they gotta
Then you
do it
gotta
again.
all over
Then you gotta do
again
it all
next
over
year.
again next year. So I mean, that's,
So, I don't know, no, we didn't get any
I would
petitions.
really like to run this process by the city attorney if this is the route we go,
And the
before
state.
we decide to do so.
Yeah. Secretary of State.
Do we have to do the petitions?
Yeah.
Because that's
If there's an
just-
election,
If
you
you
have
have
to
to
do
be on the ballot, you
petition.
have to do petition.
Because I
It's a
thought
barrier
when
to
we
entry.
spoke,
I mean,
when we spoke the other day,
Any election to be listed on the ballot, you have to do the petition. That's for
Yes.
any elected office in
That
the
is
state.
correct.
which I'm completely fine with us doing that process just to save time. I just wanna make sure that that's.
But what if we do it and then nobody does petitions?
Right.
It's not fun getting 50 people to sign a piece of paper. Just saying.
It's kind of fun.
So then we've done all this work and then,
And then
We're
you're
back
to
here.
square one.
so I guess, yeah. I don't know.
So
Again, I don't get to vote.
that would be your question to the two people in here, would they be willing to go out and do that?
But wouldn't we want our next mayor to go door to door? And I'm not saying that they have to, but why is that a negative thing? Going door to door and
Nobody
talking
did
to
it in
50
February.
people.
It's not.
Nobody did it.
I know they didn't do it in
It's cold
February, but now we have a lot of interest. And it sounds like we might have some people online that are interested too. Why are we saying that they're not eligible? And I don't know if anybody else is eligible, but I want to see if we do have more people.
I believe every registered voter in town is eligible for that, but they're not sitting on this board.
Eligible, yes, but interested. But they're not eligible if we don't let them be. Like if we don't give them the opportunity to put in an application because we told them it was closed. You guys said you wanna have hard conversations.
But we had one person.
This is hard, like, it's hard for me to say in front of these two competent individuals, yes, I think you both would be great for mayor. But I also think not everybody got the opportunity to put in an application, I just wanna make sure it's fair.
Everybody got the opportunity, and everybody met,
Not after the 5th, though.
no,
Right.
but everybody had the opportunity until the 4th. They were due. Everybody had the
So then,
opportunity.
are you saying to close it on the 4th?
Yes, that was the date. That's, again, I don't get to vote.
You're-
Because then that would discount the people in the room who,
The application clearly had an application due date on it. I'm kind of a
Stickler.
stickler, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's gonna look a little bit messy no matter how we go forward. Whether we stick with the original deadline or extend it to these two or even extend it beyond that. I agree, it's probably a pretty big undertaking to get that thing turned around. I mean, you would end up extending things out to where, you're probably into June or whatever by the time you'd have an election to give these guys an
Yeah,
opportunity to pull a petition and
advertise.
get signatures.
And then 6 months
And
later, you
start
gotta
over
do it
in
again.
6 months.
Right. So, that being said, it's kind of a shorter term that they'd be serving. We would have time between now and next year to change the ordinance to state something different if we didn't like how the process was this time. But maybe the process that we have, we can just go forward with for this term. But I think we need to decide.
what is our process?
What-
That's kind of where I'm at.
Right,
is
that's
We
what
don't
I
really
mean,
have
like-
that.
I think we need to
Just-
decide.
I think the way I understand our process is us 5 have to decide who is the mayor, and we have to do that at the first meeting in May.
Right.
So are we
Right.
gonna accept applications?
That's the real process. Now, we put together, different guidelines and Nate established the timeline and, we didn't raise our hand and clarify exactly what that meant. But the way it states right now, us 5 have to make this choice. And I wanna make sure I'm putting the right person in that chair. And
Absolutely.
if we have people interested, I would like to hear from them.
Me too, but why are we limiting it to the people in this room?
I'm
We
good
could-
with extending it. And if
Yeah, we
there's
could
other people
open
that
it up
come
till the
forward,
13th,
up until the 13th, I'll listen to anyone that's interested.
for sure.
So then I think we need to express that publicly, that we are accepting applications, and otherwise, we're not being fair to everybody by,
Right, nobody
it's
really
under
knew.
the table by saying, we're only gonna accept them till the 5th, but we'll accept a couple, but you didn't get the opportunity. If we have some great people in the community that maybe they're not gonna be mayor, but they'll take the time to come stand up here and talk in front of us, and now we have them on planning and zoning, great. I think that's a great opportunity for us to get more people into public service. And I believe we have our mayor in this room tonight, our new mayor, but if we can get some more people interested and at least coming here and seeing where we have the meetings, that's what we need. We need more people voting, more people coming out and having their voices heard, and we're not gonna do that if we shut them out.
So I'm totally on board with setting a deadline, there's not gonna be another meeting before we have to do it.
That's
So then-
fine, we would do it on the 13th though.
Fine. So,
So just to be clear, there was a process established, and now we're changing the or we're
there
not.
was not a process established.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There was a timeline.
There wasn't an application that had a deadline on it for the open positions.
There was.
Okay.
Right, and that was
So
established
now,
by
so
the city
now,
administrator.
because you're unhappy with whoever the applicants are, you're changing the process to extend the timeline. So are you gonna reopen up the Ward 3 timeline to accept applications until May 13th of Ward 3?
Sure.
Sure.
We want I know I want what's best. Brittany said a lot of good things there about getting people involved in our government and getting people to step forward and be a part. And it's huge. If there's more interest out there, I wanna know about it, definitely. We're all gonna not run at some point. And having vacancies as we're experiencing is very difficult.
Well, and we're gonna have a lot in just a couple months, and if we can, help get some people, get those jitters out, and then they come back in February and do a petition when it's the 2-year time, because we gave them the opportunity to come in and interview tonight or another night. 4 seats open is gonna be really a lot more difficult than one mayor spot. 5 seats with the mayor spot come next year.
Yeah.
Could be a totally different looking room.
So my recommendation for moving forward would be to interview the 2 individuals that are present tonight, that put in applications, and then accept any applications up until May 13th, correct? I don't know that we need like a formal motion, I just wanna make sure it's against the record.
Yeah, May 13th, like,
And so interviewing the 2 individuals in the room tonight, and then opening up the mayor and Ward 3 application window again until May 13th. And then if there's new individuals during that time frame, then we'll interview them on May 13th, and May 13th we'll announce we'll vote on the new mayor and council person.
If it's all legal, that makes sense to me.
Denise looks concerned.
Yeah, when you're done with discussion, before you make a motion, I want to go into exec for
Do we
legal.
need a motion for this? Okay, sorry.
No, I just think, but before you make a decision, I want to go into exec for legal.
Okay.
Do we wanna move forward with interviews first before we have them wait for another exec?
I'll make a motion to go into exec for legal.
Second.
This will be quick, I promise.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're getting a true
They're
feel
not
of
all
what
like
it's
this.
like.
They're not all like this.